Alright, welcome to the tutorial. So we'll first start out with supplies. You need a piece of PVC, pool noodle, whatever 2 kinds of duct tape you need. You can go even more if you want to. You also need a knife, and a ruler is optional. So let's get started. First, take away everything you don't need. Clean up your workspace, make sure it's nice and tidy. And then I already have the piece of PVC cut out from a previous project. It's about 2 feet and 8 inches long. And you also want to cut out your blade with the pool noodle. Now, optimally, the blade will be about 2/3 the length of the PVC. I already cut mine. And then next, you want to cut just a teeny strip off the edge of the other pool noodle you're not using, and I'll show you what to do with it in just a second. For now, you want to make sure the edges of your PVC pipe are nice and smooth. You don't want any jagged parts on the end that'll cut through the tape. So to start, you want to get a piece of tape. Just a small piece of work. Mine's probably too big actually. And you want to stick it on the very end. This will be the front of your blade. This is just to prevent any of the stabbing that you'll be doing going through the foam, or the foam going into the PVC. So stick the noodle on top, make sure you leave just a little bit of space on the front. And this will be able, so you can stick the piece of foam you're cutting out now into the blade, or into the stabbing tip anyways. So then stick it in here. Make sure it's flat, just so it looks cleaner. And then next you want to grab some tape. Just peel off a little bit. It doesn't need to be too much, but it needs to be enough to cover the top and a little ways down both sides. So you'll stick it on the top, and then pull the edges down smoothly. Just a little rub is fine. You want to stick it on nice and gently, and then cut off or take a slit through this. Now, some people call this dog ears, and that's what I like to refer to it as. I just say cut the dog ears. So just take it, make a nice smooth slit, and then you want to stick it, flatten it down smooth. It doesn't need to be perfect, as this will be covered up, but you don't want to leave any jagged edges regardless. So you take your knife, make a nice clean slit through all the 3 remaining edges, and then flatten them out. Now you just want to do it again on the other side. This is to make the bond stronger. Flatten them out a little bit, and on to the next step. So I used some blue camping pad foam because that's just what I had handy, and I prefer it over the pool noodle. And this is just for the stabbing tip. You can do it with pool noodle, and if that's all you have, I'd recommend it. So you just take it, you want to cut out a little flat section if you're doing it with a pool noodle, and just do the exact same step of cutting it round, and then I'll show you what to do in a second. But if you're just using the blue camping pad like I am, then you want to, it still works pretty much the same way. Cutting out a circle, and then you'll be duct taping them together in just a second. And make sure you trim it to the right size. Mine are a little bit too big, but I'm going with it anyways because it doesn't really matter if they're a little too big. And then next, you want to get a strip of duct tape. Sorry, I went off the screen there. And then roll it up on itself to where it sticks on both sides. You'll be doing this twice. and then stick it on the back. You'll be connecting the two pieces and then eventually sticking the two pieces on top of the front of your sword. So this piece of tape is too long, but it doesn't really matter. It'll be covered up eventually, and then just stick it on the top. So then next, we'll want to repeat the whole step with the dog ears, and then we'll time lapse through it real quick. Alright, we're back. So it doesn't really need to look too smooth. We'll be covering it up in just a second. And if you have any extra like foam or anything sticking out of the tape, it doesn't matter since we'll be sticking another layer of tape on in just a second. So now here's where you make the blade look smooth. It also helps to connect the blade to the PVC and give it the nice strength that it needs to endure combat. So I just take the knife, take a few slits off. It does not need to be perfect, as with everything, and especially if this is your first try, it'll take a few attempts to get the angle right. It doesn't really matter. Alright, next you want to grab a slit of duct tape and stick it on the foam first, and then moving to the PVC. And now, it's kind of hard to get it at first, but you'll get used to it. All you need to do is slide the duct tape down, and then just stick your hand on it like you're grabbing it, and it'll just crush the duct tape right on. It won't be perfectly smooth, but it'll be fine for the handle. And we'll be covering it up with another layer of duct tape. And then next, we're going to time lapse you doing the handle. It's the exact same thing you do on the blade, except you just make the slits of tape a little longer. Alright, we're back. Sorry, it's a little choppy. It's my camera. I'm working on upgrading it. So next you'll get a slit of duct tape. Try and make it as long enough to where you can go comfortably around the hilt of the handle. Like this. You'll want to keep it on the edge. And this is just to prevent any of the noodle from showing. To make it look very smooth. You just pat it down a little bit, and then we'll be moving on to the blade next. So we're done with the black duct tape, and we're moving on to the blue. I just prefer the blue and black combination, just because I think it looks nice and sharp, but if you want to do any two colors, or just keep the whole thing black, it's really up to you. So you want to get your duct tape a little long enough to where it can go comfortably close to the edge of the blade, and then a little onto the handle of the PVC. Now it's probably, mine's a little bit too long. You can probably keep it going on just a black tape, but I prefer doing it this way. So then take it, smooth it out all the way on the end, and then down onto the handle part. And remember, it really doesn't need to be perfect, and if there's crinkles in the tape, it doesn't matter. You'll be hitting things with this, so it'll get crumpled anyway. So we'll time lapse to the rest of the tape. See you on the other side. So then after you finish that, that's really all we have the blue tape for, and then it's time to work on the black. I should have done the handle first just to show you what it's like, without doing the extra decoration, but I really prefer this step because I think that a little bit of extra black duct tape on the edge and outside just looks really good. It also helps cover up any mistakes you made when you were putting down the blue, because it's not going to be perfect up there. So this just helps cover it up and make it look smooth. And then I do another one on the bottom of the sword blade, just because I can and because I like it. Fight me. And then this will take practice, getting the tape to line up perfectly on itself to where it doesn't move off too much, and you have like one smooth black line and not unsmooth one. So next we'll be moving on to the handle. I just had some extra black tape, so I put it there. And then what you want to do is just unroll some tape and stick it on. You want to have a higher angle than what you think you'd need to go all the way down, because the tape does try to flatten out, and if you have a higher angle it won't flatten out as much. So next you just wrap it up and try and get as little overlap on the tape as possible, just to preserve tape. And then once you get all the way to the end, just wrap it up, grab your knife, carefully cut it, and you're pretty much done. See you in the arena. Steven, out. Alright, and as always with knives, make sure to close them when you're done, and stay safe. Don't do anything crazy and cut yourself. The disclaimer's probably a little late in the video, but thanks for watching.